everybody. Welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots, and I'm here with Andrew Lee, bro. We're talking Survivor Series 94. How you feeling, Andrew Lee, bro?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I'm in my new place. I feel good about the move. Wait, are you asking me about Survivor Series? I did not feel good
I'm
about
just asking you in general how you feel. We're doing the
General,
we're
I
on the
feel good.
podcast. But
General, I feel good. The show, not so good.
this was a pretty bad show. This was,
Yeah.
when we started 94, I thought to myself, maybe I've been too harsh on this year because this was the year I didn't watch it all.
No, you're right.
This year stunk. This year, every show, even when it had a good match, it still left me feeling eh. And this one was the most of all. It
This
was.
was Survivor Series 94 was so bad that I wish that Vince McMahon had got caught for sexual assault that year. That's how bad it was.
Well,
I was like,
I wish he got sent to prison for the steroid case. That's what he was on trial for.
I was like, he needs to go. He is awful. This is an awful show.
He is like so off his game here, and he is just like, dude. The more I watch this era, the more I'm like, because you know what? As soon as the show starts, they show like the wrestlers in this locker room that looks like it's in a hallway. It doesn't even look like a real locker room, right? And the camera and the lighting is so bad, and I'm like, I don't understand how you got it in 89, 90. Like, compare the intros of Survivor Series 89 and 90 to this intro. Like, you fucking had it. And now it's like 6 years later and you don't know what you're doing. Hulk Hogan wasn't directing the fucking cameraman, was he? Because ever since you lost Hogan, you don't know what you're doing.
It's like almost like they're taking a step back in production and everything. It's just kind of weird. It's storytelling. They take a step. It's like they're taking a step back. Production are taking a step back, and it's weird because it's like you've now at this point been doing it for like 10 years. You should be better. How are you digressing? You know?
Well, the thing about it is, and I remember saying this as a kid. I put it on one day because I noticed back then everyone had pyro. And Vince, when the pyro goes up, it's Vince, so he goes, woo ha ha ha, like he yells, like he's so excited that he's so pyro. He thinks so there's less people in the building. He thinks the pyro is like a huge step forward. He thinks the fact that when Razor Ramon goes like this and fireworks shoot off, that he's doing something big,
Mm-hmm.
He thinks like that's like a huge, and I remember like when you listen, I think the Bruce Pritchard podcast, yeah, when we did pyro, that was like nobody gives a fuck about the pyro, bro, because everything looks so cheap. But like everything looks cheap now. Like compare this show to like WrestleMania 3 or even WrestleMania 5. This shit looks cheap. It doesn't matter how many fucking fireworks go off Bret Hart's ass.
Yeah.
All right, let's start. Let's talk about it.
Survivor Series 94. It's time to meet your maker. Takes place November 23rd, 1994 in San Antonio. We had 10,000 people in attendance, which is, not that much for a WWF pay-per-view, and 100,000 buys. In comparison, Survivor Series 1993, which is the Survivor Series before, had 195,000 buys.
Wow, that's a big drop.
That's a drop. And Survivor Series 95, though, it's 135,000 buys. So that's
you know what that says to me. Sonny was a draw because that's who they're missing. Sonny shows up next year.
No, I'm saying it drops because this year is 94 is 169,000, right?
Oh,
95 is 135,000. So
actually, I thought you said 94 was 100,000. I'm sorry.
No. That's actually 93. So since 93, the Survivor Series pay-per-view buy rates just keep going down. It's not a good look.
Well, all the other thing about the 95 show is too, that's when they were doing shows every month. The story sucked. We'll see how these shows fare when we get to them. At least they're 2 hours to get in your houses. But like, I feel like people were more like, I can skip this one when 95 hit, Also, they were doing Brett. Also, even though I think it's their best match, they are doing Brett Diesel for the third time at Survivor Series 95. So that might have something to do with it. But let's focus on Survivor Series because there's a lot to talk about. Oof, what a shitty show, bro.
It is. Let's just get right into it. We got a cold open as you mentioned, of these Survivor Series teams that are huddled up together. We got a cold open of Shawn Michaels huddled up with his team, which is Jeff Jarrett and Diesel and Owen Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Owen Hart's already been fucking demoted down to like not even being a top heel. He's like not even a captain of this team. It's ridiculous. They're huddling, they're going over strategy. Then they show Razor Ramon, 1, 2, 3 Kid, the Head Shrinkers, Davey Boy Smith huddle. Then they show Lex Luger, Mabel, Adam Bomb, and the Smoking Guns. Then Diesel with his DiBiase with his team, this money team of Tonka. They're returning King Kong Bundy, Bam Bam Bigelow, and the Heavenly Bodies. And then they show the Doinks and the King's Court people. It's just like when you see it, you're just like, I don't want to watch any of these.
Dude, the saddest part is they have Lex.
As I'm watching this cold open, I'm just like, I don't want to watch any of these.
It looks so boring. It doesn't look.
Yeah, it looks boring.
Like compared to 80. Do you remember 87? Andre was standing there and like his 5 guys are going like in the background. They're all like making noises and they're all like getting ready, and Andre's like pumping them up. And now this is just like they're like sitting around playing cards.
Yeah, it's if it was like individual matchups or something like that, I think I would like it better. But the fact that they're just like team.
Your mic died.
I know that nothing's at stake in these Survivor Series matches, you know?
Well,
that's at stake, dude. What's at stake?
Well, I mean, Lex could get his revenge. That's at stake in that match, at least. I don't know what's at stake in the other ones.
No, there's nothing at stake, and I think that's what makes
if Lex can pin all 5 guys, then he proved to me he got revenge on DiBiase.
Yeah, but I guess.
But he doesn't do it anyway because we can't make Lex look good ever. We just did the whole Lex Express thing, and then we're going to hold it against him. They, the funniest thing is they cut to Lex going over strategy with his teammates. He goes, "Tonight's about honor and pride." And if I was like Billy, I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with us beating these guys? Like, how are we supposed to beat these? How am I supposed to beat King Kong Bundy if we're talking about honor and pride? Are you fucking idiot?
Well, that's why they lose.
That's why they lose.
Honor and pride can only take you so far, Ray. All right,
I know.
It only takes you so far.
It should have been like, is it a ring of honor and pride? Hold on one second. All right, so we're up to match 1.
Yeah, let's just go right to actually before we get that, we do get a let's go with the what do you call it? The hosts. We have Vince McMahon Jr. and Gorilla Monsoon. They're both dressed up like cowboys, I guess, like modern day cowboys. And they're gonna run down the card and they inform us that Chuck Norris is gonna be there. That's right. TV's Texas Walker Texas Ranger.
Walker, Texas and he's there to prevent Royal Rumble 94 from happening again.
Yeah, he's going to be there. So we're going to go to that. Let's go to match number 1. It's the Teamsters. That's the name of the team. It is Diesel, Shawn Michaels, Owen Hart, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Jeff Jarrett. Those 5 versus the bad guys. We got Razor Ramon, 1, 2, 3 Kid, the Head Shrinkers, and the Bulldogs. By the way, it's not the Head Shrinkers you think. It is Fatu, but no more Samu. Instead, it is Fatu and Sione, who used to be the Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Sione, but not as much as I liked Samu.
No, it wasn't the same. It's kind of like
it wasn't the same. Yeah, it wasn't.
It's kind of like whatchamacallit, the Midnight Express when they got Stan Lane. It's like it's not the same.
Even though I do like Stan Lane, I like Stan Lane. I like Stan Lane's little karate moves. There was, All right. He reminded me of like a smaller version of Billy Gunn, like his voice and everything.
Well, he's an ass man.
Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3 Kid and Owen Hart, they start the match as Fatu's doing this gimmick where he's like, I got to wear boots. He's like putting boots on the floor because he used to wrestle barefoot, right? Owen Hart, he gets scared of all the 1, 2, 3 Kids kicks. So he tags in the Anvil. The Anvil comes in, just overpowers the Kid. After a while, Owen Hart tags back in, but he's like, I want Davey. And him and Davey and Owen, to their credit, they have a very good exchange. Fatu tags in, but he's distracted by his boots. He had these boots on. He doesn't like wrestling with boots. So Jeff Jarrett and so he just tags in Razor Ramon, and Jeff Jarrett gets in there and they face off. Jarrett's wearing these weird, like, he's got all these tinsel on his gear. And as he's fighting, they're falling all over the place. You notice that? He had like
Yeah.
Christmas tinsel all over his gear. It's the ugliest gear. Jeff Jarrett, I have to say, almost throughout his entire career, has had some of the worst looking gear.
That's awful. He's got no taste.
He had that suspenders thing, and then now he has this tassel thing. It's like his gear is awful. Owen Hart basically slams Fatu's head into the buckle, and Fatu starts dancing, and he starts doing his dancing attacks. This is when he starts dancing. Remember this?
Oh yeah, leading up to Make a Difference.
By the way, speaking of Make a Difference Fatu, did you know that they're coming out with a action figure for Make a Difference Fatu? They are.
Oh, yes, I think I saw that. Yeah. Well, someone's got to make a difference.
I can't believe that figure we're getting a figure of Make a Difference Fatu, but we can't get a figure of like Hakushi or like Quang. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I think we'll get Quang. I don't know. Have we gotten a Savio Vega figure?
No, that's crazy.
I have a feeling he won't. Well, they got to sign the rights over. If Savio Vega won't give him the rights, they can't just make it. They can't just be like, "Fuck you, fucking piece of shit."
So you think that's why they're not making it? Because I know Savio Vega's on good terms with them. He's the one who helped them with that, that backlash at Puerto Rico.
Yeah, but there's a difference between like that and having merch sold. He might also have a different merch deal because he's still working for that Puerto Rican company over there.
Yeah, maybe
so that might be like we get to make his merch.
I would like to see a Savio Vega like merchandise available.
I mean, the reason why we're finally seeing Headbanger figures and they're in the new game, they signed a deal just a year ago and they were really excited about it. I think they were waiting to do it. But like, you have to have these guys sign the deal before you can do this shit. So
yeah, but that wasn't like
also some of these old heads might be some of these old heads might just be dicks about it.
No, but isn't it like they're just waiting for the call? Like it's like the Headbangers, it wasn't like they weren't signing because they didn't want to sign us because they weren't being offered.
Exactly, but there might be some other guys that are just dicks about it. Like I want $2 million, and you're like, you were Waylon Mercy, bro. Like, no, I'm not gonna give you $2 million.
I want to see a figure for all these people. Like
who I'm excited that they made up with last night? I think they made up because they're gonna make figures of Jesse Ventura. Did you see that? He was at Raw.
No, he was at Raw.
Yeah, they showed him on camera, and he's made up, and I believe he signed like some type of Legends deal. I would love some great Jesse Ventura figures. I'll say from Mattel, like an old school Jesse Ventura. I think would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, with like the boas and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They should have ones with like different heads with different bandanas.
They should have a mode where you like a story mode where in the game, because this might be hard to do in real life.
You become mayor and then you become governor.
No, Jesse Ventura does like you get sent back to the 80s and Jesse Ventura does commentary.
Oh, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
You get like someone, I don't know, you get like Michael Cole, I don't know, Michael Cole and Jesse Ventura in the game. I don't know if it might be hard for him to do it live. I loved it. I'd love for them, like, dude, at SummerSlam, if he just did one match, just him and Michael Cole, I would fucking freak out. That'd be amazing.
That would be
That would make the show. Best show of the year, just based on that.
Yeah. Well, you know what made this match? It's Diesel. Diesel makes his first match because he jackknife powerbombs Fatu, and Fatu gets the first elimination. Then he jackknives 1-2-3 Kid right away, and he gets the second elimination. Then Head Trigger Sione comes in, and he gets jackknifed a little bit awkwardly, but still jackknifed for the third elimination. That's 3 eliminations, like almost in a row.
3 did it.
Yeah, it was just out of nowhere. It's just like one after the other. People are so into Diesel. They're really propping him up. Davey Boy Smith gets in, and he gets big booted out of the ring by Diesel. And Owen Hart and Jeff Jarrett, they start beating on the Bulldog outside the ring and in front of the referee. And the referee just still keeps counting, and he gets counted out. So Davey Boy Smith, even though he doesn't get jackknifed, he is eliminated as well. So that leaves only Razor Ramon. Now, Shawn Michaels starts talking to Diesel on the apron. Like he starts like yelling instructions at him. And it's distracting Diesel to the point where he almost gets eliminated, but he doesn't. He survives. And Razor Ramon, like I said, he's alone and he's with Diesel, and they go back and forth between Diesel and Razor. while all this time, Shawn Michaels is just shouting instructions at Diesel to, hey, just finish this guy off, and it's distracting and it's annoying Diesel. Diesel finally jackknifes Razor Ramon, but Shawn Michaels says he wants to tag in, so he tags in Shawn. But Shawn Michaels says, I want you to hold up Razor for my super kick. So Diesel holds him up, and then Shawn Michaels super kicks, goes for the super kick. Razor Ramon ducks out of the way, and he super kicks Diesel by accident. And the commentators mentioned this is the third time this has happened. This is the third time. It just happening way too much. And Diesel is mad. He's pissed off, and he starts shoving and hitting his. He starts chasing Shawn Michaels like, I'm gonna kill this guy. And his other teammates are like, hey man, like calm down. And he gets mad, so he just starts like, he starts shoving everybody out of the way, hitting his own teammates, and he chases Shawn Michaels to the back. Everyone's kind of in the aisleway, and somehow the referee goes, all right, everybody's counted out. Razor Ramon, you win. So Razor Ramon wins somehow. It was very weird.
Well, I guess because nobody went to the ring, he just counted. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't like that. You think Diesel be the one counted out?
Yeah, how does everyone just get counted out like that? Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. Maybe he counted to 50. Because once you count to 10, then you count another 10, then you count another 10, then now the whole team's out. You know?
I guess, but they're not even like announcing.
But they didn't even. You know what was confusing about this show? And I don't know. I can't remember if they changed it. Usually Howard Finkel will announce when a guy gets eliminated. They didn't do that this show. You just get pinned, and then that would be it.
Yeah, it was just weird. It was just like this match had the
potential,
the potential to be like a good fun match, but like just the way like it ended, it just was stupid. It just really was.
The problem. Okay, so this is the problem with this whole show. This match had all the good workers of the company in the one match, and then all of them barely wrestle. And basically, you have every great, like, say what you will about Jim Neidhart, he's a great worker. Fatu's a great worker. British Bulldog, great. Owen's great. Shawn's great. Razor's great. 1, 2, 3 Kid is great. The only shitty worker I would say is Barbarian, and he's not bad. So you have like 10 great wrestlers, but they're not wrestling to have a good match. They're wrestling to tell the story of the breakup of Shawn and Diesel. So the match sucks. Like Shawn's like, dude, let's just think about this, right? WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels doesn't just steal the show; he changes the industry, right? This motherfucker hasn't wrestled the rest of the year on pay-per-view. How do you not give this guy a showcase? Unless he was hurt and they didn't want to like tell us, because notice he doesn't do anything but a super kick and then he runs away.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually a good point. Maybe he's hurt and like he's like, we can still have you on the pay-per-view, so it looks like you're doing something to progress the story, but we won't have you move around too much, something like that.
Yeah, but like everyone, like they're not like 1, 2, 3 Kids barely in the ring. Razor is getting
beat. But Neidhart's barely in the ring. Like it's just like
it's like doing the thing about his boots. It's like, and so like, and then it's like, wait a minute, all the best workers were in this match, and this match sucked. What the fuck is going to be with the rest of the show? Like you just wasted all your good workers.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's one thing to do this on a Raw, but dude, people paid like $30 for this fucking thing.
Well, it's only downhill from here. Let me tell you that, brother. All right, we got Top Pettingill. He starts going like, "Oh wait, let me talk to Shawn Michaels. Let me get some word from him." And Shawn Michaels got his bags, and he's fucking like trying to he's speed walking, trying to get out of this arena. He's running away from Diesel, and he's leaving, and he starts shitting on Diesel, going like that Diesel, like he's a piece of garbage. Like I carried him and everything, and then he takes his tag title. That remember because he's tag champions with Diesel, and he throws it down. I guess signifying that he's no longer wants to be a tag team with him, and he gets in a car and he leaves. Then they show Diesel. He's at the hotline with sweet Stan Lane. That's right. And they're talking to Lauren Bobart's mom about like sex stuff, probably. But yeah,
Lauren Bobart's mom.
Yeah. All right. So that's that. Let's go to match number 2. The Royal Family. We got Jerry the King Lawler and his little kings. Cheesy, Queasy, and Sleazy.
Mhm.
versus the Clowns Are Us. That's the name of the group. Clowns Are Us. It's Doink the Clown with Dink, Pink, and Wink.
That's
Oh,
what we're dealing with.
oh my
That's
God.
what we're dealing with.
Yeah, this is so Jerry Lawler and Doink, they start the match, and Doink he holds down. It's like a comedy match. So he holds down Jerry the King Lawler for Dink to like run run over run over the King, and then he runs him to the corner, and he like I guess like teases the little kings. So all the little kings and Doink, they run over the King, and then Jerry King Lawler, when it's his turn, he tries it. He holds down Doink, but all the kings kind of trip over each other. It's stupid. Did you like that spot? Let me ask you. I'm gonna go over each comedy spot, and you tell me on the
I'll save you the
we're
time.
comedians.
I hated everything about this match. I
You
want to
didn't think
kill
any of
Vince
these spots
McMahon.
are funny. You don't think any of these spots are
I think it was. I think this is the second year in a row where Doink has. Well, he wasn't in. I can't blame. And also was Matt Bourne. This is the second Doink related Survivor Series match that makes me want to kill myself. This was horrendous. I hated this whole fucking thing.
all
By
right? Well,
far the worst.
I didn't hate everything. There's this fun spot where they do where I don't remember the part where they take the little guys. They all take turns trying to cover. Um they they're trying to cover each little person's covering somebody, and then they like Jerry Lawler like grabs him and he throws him. Like he grabs him, puts a little guy on Doink. Doink kicks out of it. Jerry Lawler grabs the other little guy and he puts it on Doink, and then Doink kicks out of it. Then he grabs the other little guy and he puts it on Doink. You didn't like that?
No, I didn't like any of this. What are you
Oh,
talking
okay.
about?
How about the part where they put the Burger King crown on Jerry Lawler? Because let
No.
me tell you, the crowd really liked that. The crowd, if you go back and watch this, as stupid as it sounds, the part where Doink puts like the Burger King crown on Jerry the King Lawler, and Jerry Lawler has to act like he doesn't know that a crown is on him. The crowd fucking loves it, and they love chanting Burger King at fucking Jerry Lawler. Like when I was a kid, I didn't know why people loved it so much because I thought it was stupid, but they love shouting Burger King at Jerry Lawler. They really loved
Yeah,
it.
I would like to shout retire and kill yourself, Jerry Lawler. You know how like this journey we've like been like, wow, Lex is so good, Mabel wasn't that bad. Lawler is worse than anyone says. Everyone overhypes Lawler. Lawler is one of the worst wrestlers I think I've ever had. He is just such man, he's just such a fucking throwback to like 1978 fucking territory bullshit. And
Yeah, this is how they used to do it in the territories, brother. You know?
yeah, but the whole reason that they had the fucking rock and roll revolution, Hulkamania, was to get away from this nonsense. And now he's doubling down. Vinnie
I
Mac.
guess. Yeah. Anyway, Dink gets on Doink's shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
and Jared King Lawler is like, all right, let's do that. So he goes, we're gonna get them, and he goes, let me get on, but instead, let me get on Sleazy's shoulders, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was kind of a fun spot. By the way, and he obviously he's a heavy guy, so he falls. Junior mentions that, by the way, Doink, Dink, Taker, Razor Ramon, Davey Boy Smith, Flex Luger, Paul Bearer will be at the Big Apple Macy's Day Parade that
Yes.
year. Did you see that parade?
I think that was the last parade I went to. We didn't go to another parade after that.
You actually went.
We used to go every year. I don't know if I got a good look at the float. Also, I was over wrestling, so I probably like just blew them off. I was like, it's over for you guys.
I see. All right, so the little guys start chasing each other around on the apron, and then Doink hits a second buckle crossbody, which King reverses and holds it tight for Doink to be the first one eliminated. Then Queasy and Dink face off, and Dink bites Queasy's ass, and then he bites Jared King Lawler's ass. They always make the little people like bite asses. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
They always make every like little wrestler has to bite someone's ass. They always do this. Wink has cheesy by
Because
his
little
goat.
people like to eat ass.
Yeah, I guess they do. Little people love eating ass. Like that's their thing, eating ass. So Wink has cheesy by his goatee, and then when Wink tries to monkey flip cheesy in the corner, Jerry the King Lawler, he kind of helps Cheesy cover Wink for Wink to be the second elimination. Then Queasy, he spins Pink on his head, which is a kind of fun spot. And then Jerry Lawler slams Cheesy on top of Pink for the third elimination. Then Dane cleans up. He gets in the ring and he cleans up, but King distracts for the Little Kings to reverse the cover for Dink to lose. All the clowns, by the way, as they're losing, they're going under the ring. Jerry the King Lawler, he gets on the mic and says, like as they're celebrating, he goes, "Hey, you Little Kings, you guys put your hands down. I'm the real winner. I'm the only one who gets to raise my hand." And then he kicks them all out of the ring. But then and he kicks them out of the ring going like, he says, "I don't like short people." I thought that was funny. He goes, "Get out of my ring. I don't like short people." I thought that was kind of funny. And then he still sees them raising their hand, the Little Kings, like they won. So he gets mad. So he starts chasing them around the ring. Then all the little clowns come out, and all six of the little guys, they start attacking Jerry Lawler, and they chase him around the ring. And Doink returns, and then he throws a pie in Jerry Lawler's face. And that is how this segment ends. Tell me what you thought about this as I go check up real quick.
It was the worst fucking piece of shit I've ever seen. It was an embarrassment. It was not funny. This new Doink is got zero talent, and he's one of the worst fucking characters in the world. He ruined Doink. This was all Vince McMahon humor. This wasn't humor that regular people like. I can't stand it. I can't stand Jerry Lawler. I really can't. I think he is, to me, he's like Abby, where it's Abby Abdul the Butcher. Where it's like, I don't understand what the big deal is. I think you're all fucking buffoons that you think this guy has any talent. He was good on commentary with Jim Ross, and that's it. And he sucks. This whole thing sucked. This is not why I got into wrestling in the 80s. This is not what attracted me to WWF. This is everything that this company was trying to get away from, and they just doubled down on this fucking territory hick bullshit nonsense. I fucking hated this match.
It was really long too. It was actually, I think it was like 5 minutes longer than it should have been.
It was awful. It was like, how do you put this on? How do you see when worlds collide and you put this on pay-per-view? You put on pay-per-view.
Yeah. So Todd Pettengill, he laughs at Jerry the King Lawler. And then he recaps the women's match. He goes, the Tokyo Egg Dome, where they had over 45,000 people watching. Bull Nakata, she won the title from Alundra Blaze. And Bull Nakata,
we don't get to see it. We don't get to see that match.
No, we don't. But we saw clips. They show you clips. And she's with Bull Nakata's with Todd, and she cuts a Japanese promo. I wish they had aired this match on Survivor Series. That would have been awesome. That would have made the show.
I wish they had just done this match at Survivor Series instead of everything we saw.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So match number 3 is throw in the towel. It's a throw in the towel WWF Championship match. That's right. Bret the Hitman Hart's champion, and he's still fucking pulling mid-card duties. It's Bob Backlund who comes out with Owen Hart versus Bret, who comes out with Davey Boy Smith. They show Helen and Stu at ringside. Bob tries to attack Bret before the bell, and then he gets taken out, and he has to regroup outside. It is a nothing happening match for the most part, with Bret really just trying to avoid the chicken wing every time. They show Bret's beautiful wife, Julie, and his kids sitting there watching. And then Bret puts Bob in the figure 4, but Owen, he's like, no, I'm not throwing in the towel. I'm not throwing in the towel for this. And then Bob is often, you know what made this match not good? I don't know if you notice this, but Bob Backlund, he's often a little too slow to the sell. For example, there's a spot where Bret, he runs the ropes and then he collides with Bob Backlund. When they collide, Bret collapses right away, but Bob does this kind of hokey, slower fall, right? He falls a second or two later, which is just unrealistic. He gets bumped and then he does whoa, and then he falls, right? And it's little things like that that take me out of it, because it's like watching a movie and there's like this like real wooden acting, this unnatural like forced acting in it.
You know what? You know what I think for me, it just he can't get out of. Like again, this is the other problem. He can't get out of the 70s. He can't change his style. His style is his style. And Brett can go with it. I remember liking this match. I didn't like it now. And it's 70s WWWF. It's the 3W era. You know, it's not the 90s. It's not even like 1984, man. You know, everything changes so fucking fast after Hogan wins the belt. And this is just such a throwback to an era that nobody really liked. Sorry. You ever try to watch a WWF show from like before Hogan showed up? It's unwatchable.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't enjoy this. This is one of the first Brett matches I'm not enjoying. It just doesn't
Yeah.
click.
Because they're doing it his style. Brett has to go to Bob's style rather than Bob doing Brett's style.
No, it's not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brett puts on the sharpshooter on Bob Backlund, and Owen gets in the ring. So Davey Boy Smith starts chasing Owen around, and Owen is able to break up the submission, but he also gets Davey Boy Smith to kind of go head first into the steel steps. So Davey Boy Smith's like knocked out. He went head first. So Owen shows concern. He's like, "Oh my god, he's knocked out. Oh my gosh!" And Bret Hart like looks at him and he calls BS. He goes, "That's bullshit. I know you're bullshitting." And then as he's doing that, as Bret is distracted, he gets locked in the chicken wing. And Owen starts saying, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And he's like showing like he's regrets everything he did. Bob Backlund has Bret in his chicken wing for a very long time, finally bringing him down to the mat. Then in the middle of the ring on the mat, Owen is crying for Bret. Owen starts pleading with his mom and dad. He moves the guardrail and he gives the towel to his mom, but Stu grabs it away from the mom, saying, "No, no, no, we're not going to do this." They have this really long stalling process where I think they were trying to tell the mom, like, hurry up and get the towel to like throw it in, but she's just not doing it. And then finally she grabs the towel from Stu and she throws it in. And then Owen gets in the ring. He grabs the towel and then he just runs away. And then Earl Hebner, he hands Bob the belt and all the agents and all the folks. They help Bret to the back. And then Jim Jr. says, Hey, Bob Backlund, he won the title at 45, just like George Foreman did in boxing. And I think he mentioned this a few times, and I think the whole reason why he did this was to try to like emulate the whole George Foreman.
I think that. I also think he wanted to get the belt on Diesel, and he didn't want to have Diesel beat Bret.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
This match was garbage, but I'll tell you what makes it truly just a piece of shit is Owen takes forever to throw in the towel. And Bret, who's the world champion, he is the greatest champion he's supposedly the best wrestler in the world, right? If you are a WWF fan, the WWF champion's the best. He just stays in Bob Backlund's finishing hold for what seems like a fucking hour. This guy is supposed to be like one of the greatest wrestlers. He's excellent. He can't get out of this old man's stupid chicken wing. He's just sitting there. And Owen, Owen took way too fucking long. He's like pantomiming it and stretching it out and going on and on and on and on. And fucking Bret has to lie there like an idiot. And the crowd knows, like, man, Bret Hart has been beating everyone all over the country on house shows. And now he can't even fucking get out of this stupid chicken wing. And he has to just sit there like, oh, he doesn't even pass out. He just sits there. When Bob Backlund wins the belt, there's not boos, there's not cheers, there's just silence. Yes. And the silence, I think, is, what the fuck am I watching? Like, because when Slaughter won the belt, it was shocking, but it's exciting. And that was a good match. Slaughter Warrior was a great match. Slaughter Warrior is like a fucking New Japan 10-star match compared to this shit. And but then you're excited because you're like, oh, I feel here you're just like, what are you doing? Like, you just ruined Bret Hart for what? And it's not good. It's not good. And I almost feel like Owen went longer on purpose to fuck with everyone, but which is probably funny to like everyone like Baby and Neidhart in the back, but you're just making the show bad, bro. Like, I'm sorry, this was horrible. This was horrible.
Yeah, this was not good. Afterwards, we have Todd Pettengill. He's with Owen Hart, who's smiling and says it was all a setup. And he says, "Brett, you're below me. You're beneath me now. Like you lost. You're beneath me." Jim Ross, not Jim Ross. Vince McMahon Jr. and Gorilla Monsoon, they start lamenting, and Gorilla really sells as well. He looks annoyed he sounds very annoyed at Owen that he did this, and I really miss after I watched this, I really missed Gorilla Monsoon. Gorilla
Yeah.
Monsoon was so good on commentary. Like he knew his job. Like he has to sell. Like this is the most despicable thing he's ever seen, and he does a great job of selling. You know,
He's the fucking
and
best. Yeah.
I don't
He's
like.
excellent on good execution.
He should have. Junior should have kept Gorilla Monsoon on commentary the whole time. Like when he took it off, and he had like, who did he have on commentary for pay-per-views?
Oh, he
It
had it for
wasn't.
himself.
Yeah, like he should have put Gorilla Monsoon on. It was just like it shouldn't have been like him and like Jerry King Lawler. You know, I know they were trying to do that stupid radio thing, but it really should have been Gorilla. Gorilla was fantastic,
He was
man.
the best.
Let's go to match number 4. It is the $1 Million Team: Tatanka, Bam Bam Bigelow, King Kong Bundy, and the Heavenly Bodies with Ted DiBiase and Jim Cornette versus Guts and Glory team, which is Lex Luger, Mabel, Adam Bomb, and the Smoking Guns, who comes out with Oscar, who's no longer rap.
No, it's serious, but this is serious.
Yeah, it's a serious match. That's why he ain't gonna rap. We get Tatanka and Lex Luger. They start the match, and then like I hated heel Tatanka because Tatanka is just too fucking hokey as a heel. You know, like
he doesn't know what he's doing.
He's like, oh, there's somebody behind me. Like, you know, that stupid hokey heel shit. Like, it doesn't work for Tatanka. It just doesn't work.
No,
it's just like that corny heel shit that I don't like. Lex cleans up, and then Bundy gets in last, but stops. He cleans up everybody, and when Bundy gets in, he tries to go after Lex, but he stops when Mabel comes in, who's much bigger. Dr. Tom faces off with Mabel, and as he's facing off against Mabel, we get a whoop, there it is chance. That song is still alive, brother. That song is not going away.
It's still there for our homies.
Yeah, it's can't believe it's still there. It is. So Mabel, he gets up on the second turnbuckle. He does a splash on Dr. Tom for the first elimination. That is a devastating move from Mabel. Can you imagine getting like a second turnbuckle body splash from that guy? No one should kick out of that. It looks devastating. He's so fucking humongous.
It's brutal, man. It looks brutal.
It's worse than the bonsai drop because he's like actually like jumping far, so that extra velocity just like coming crashing down on you. It's a lot. Bundy gets in, and then Mabel wins the exchange that they have. So Bam Bam Bigelow gets in. Bam Bam Bigelow tosses Mabel off the top, and he does a sunset flip cover off the top of Mabel. Kind of doesn't fall, but instead he sits down, does a sit-out splash on Bam Bam Bigelow. Then they get up, and Mabel clotheslines Bam Bam Bigelow, and they both go over the top rope, both onto the floor. They're both very slow to get up. Bam Bam, however, he beats the count. Mabel doesn't, so Mabel is counted out for the second elimination. Then Bam Bam Bigelow, he makes quick work of Adam Bomb with a top rope moonsault for the third elimination. Then Lex Luger tags in, hits a running clothesline on Jimmy Del Rey, and he eliminates Jimmy Del Rey before he can do any jiggling. That was unfortunate.
That's sad.
They should have let him do at least one jiggle, for real.
We all deserve some Jimmy Del Rey jiggles.
I love Jimmy Del Rey. He's so gross. The Guns, they start working over Tatanka, and then Bart Guns, he kind of struggles like in this crucifix with Tatanka, but Tatanka is somehow able to still hit like a very ugly looking end of the trail finishing move that he does for the fifth elimination. King Kong Bundy corner splashes and drops an elbow on Billy Gunn for the sixth elimination. This leaves Lex alone with 3 guys: King Kong Bundy, what do you call it? Tatanka, right? King Kong Bundy, Tatanka, and I think Bam Bam Bigelow, right? They all take turns working on Bam Bam. They all take turns beating on Lex Luger, I mean, sorry. They all take turns beating on Lex Luger. And Lex Luger, however, somehow rolls up to Tonka for the 7th elimination. But just as soon as he fucking eliminates Tonka, King Kong Bundy runs to the ring and hits a splash on Lex Luger to win, just out of nowhere. And then afterwards they beat on Lex some more until Lex Luger's team comes in to make the save very late. Junior does not believe in Lex Luger because he's making him lose just like left and right.
Yeah, he got over him real fucking fast, huh?
Yeah, real fucking fast. Yeah.
Yeah, this match, I remember seeing this as back in 98, 99, whenever I rented this tape. I was like, wow, they really make Lex Luger feel like an idiot. And
they do. They just don't
keep doing it. Yeah, and it's not good. It's not a good match. This was another boring waste of time. Not a good show, man. I haven't found anything that I'm enjoying. I'm just like,
so far 4 matches in, I'm not enjoying a single thing. Yeah.
No.
Not a single match. Yeah. So Todd Pettengill, he is with Bob Backlund, and they have 3 cameramen. And then Bob says, Todd's talking to Bob, he goes, "It's Mr. Backlund," and he says, "I have been champion since 1978. I never lost. And I'm here to teach this generation morality through sports education." And he's got this crazy look on his face, and the camera is zoomed in so close to his face to show how crazy it is. I thought this was actually a very good promo by Bob Backlund, and I would say this was probably one of the few enjoyable things about this pay-per-view.
And then they never really do anything with it.
So. No. What I like too is when they come back, Gorilla Monsoon starts calling Bob Backlund a hypocrite. And he goes like, "Oh, well, like Bret Hart lost the title the same way he lost the title. So if he didn't lose, then Bret technically didn't lose the belt either. He's such a hypocrite." Gorilla Monsoon was great. He was fantastic.
He's the best.
All right, we'll go to match number 5. The special enforcer Chuck Norris comes out, and then they show Paul Bearer. They show in the crowd a Paul Bearer lookalike who won this competition. And we're gonna go into match number 5. It is a casket match. Yokozuna with Cornette and Mr. Fuji versus Undertaker. We get a new Tron video for Undertaker, and then the Tron actually opens up, and then Undertaker and Paul Bearer comes out with the casket. That was really cool. Monsoon asks Vince McMahon, "Hey, do you smell that? Do you smell that formaldehyde?" And I don't think Vince McMahon knew what that was because he was like, "What?" He was like, but that's how good fucking Gorilla. I know I've said this multiple times, but he is the best thing about this pay-per-view. You see how he works. Gorilla Monsoon is this. People should study this pay-per-view just to see how what role a commentator has on a pay-per-view, what he's supposed to do. Yeah, how he can push stuff further along by just doing things like, "I smell formaldehyde" when this guy's coming in, like that. Even though there is no formaldehyde, him just adding that just makes it fucking great,
Mm-hmm.
So all right, so in this match, Taker does before the match begins, Taker does his cutthroat motion, and Yokozuna bumps for it. He gets scared and he bumps for that move. That's really funny. Yokozuna, he gets sent outside right away onto the casket, and he's scared of this casket. And they start fighting on the floor. Then back in the ring for the old school maneuver, and then Yoko fights back with a Samoan drop and a clothesline. But this does not stop Undertaker. After a Uranagi and then a leg drop, Yokozuna rolls Taker into the casket, but Taker stops the lid. Then Taker throat chops Yokozuna, and Yokozuna falls into the casket, and they fight in the casket. Mr. Fuji pulls Undertaker's hair, so Undertaker starts stalking Mr. Fuji, and he attacks Jim Cornette and takes him out. Then Undertaker hits a flying clothesline, and he starts rolling Yokozuna towards the casket when King Kong Bundy comes down, and then Bam Bam Bigelow comes down, and he have a face-off with Chuck Norris. But while everyone is distracted, IRS runs into the ring, and he attacks Undertaker. And IRS throws Undertaker into the casket, and he escapes to the crowd again. This was a good showing by IRS, taking out Undertaker like that. That was pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
a groggy Yokozuna starts struggling to his feet. Finally, makes it to the apron and gets the lid, but Undertaker gets up. Jeff Jarrett comes down to the ring as well, and he's just like, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. And like, this is Chuck Norris, and he goes to face off against Chuck Norris, but he gets kicked by Chuck Norris. And after that kick, he runs away. He just gets up and he just runs away. I thought that was kind of funny. Undertaker hits a flying clothesline and a DDT and a big boot for Yokozuna, and he big boots Yokozuna into the casket. And then he grabs the Japanese flag, breaks it, throws it into the casket, and he closes the lid for the win. The crowd loves it as Vince Jr. says, "We've seen the last of the Yokozuna," and then Paul Bear opens the urn for the flashlight spot in the urn for the pay-per-view to end. What do you think about this casket match, man?
This was the best match on the show. It was still kind of like cheesy and over the top, but like it was actually, this is typical WWF, like fun, sports entertainment. But it was the best match because everything they used the celebrity pretty well. The heels were funny. It kind of like paid off the storyline from the Royal Rumble. Undertaker finally got his revenge, and it wrote off Yokozuna for now. I don't know. I thought it was the best match. It's not. That's not high praise because this was a horrible show.
It's not a high praise. You're right. It's not. It's it is what it is, right? It's the best match on a really really lackluster pay per view. So it's like not even an 8. It's like it's still hokey at times. This match,
it's like a 6, but a 6 on this show is like an all-star. And yeah, man, I just feel like he the thing that annoys me too about this Bob Backlund thing is you know what, because this is what gets me about this guy, and especially they rewrite history. They always feel like he was so upset that Macho Man left. He was so upset that Eric Bischoff stole these guys. You weren't using these guys, man. Earthquake came back. You didn't do anything with him, so he went back. You were jobbing out Boss Man. And here's the thing: you want to do this storyline about this older wrestler who goes nuts, and like Owen Hart has to like throw in the towel to save Brett. Why don't you just use Macho Man? You literally have the best wrestler in the world sitting on his fat fucking ass in the commentary. Then you're shocked when he leaves. He wanted to wrestle. You don't think if Vince proposes to Macho Man, he would have given 110%? You don't think this match would have been an all-star classic if it was Macho Man and Brett instead of Bob Backlund and Brett?
Yeah, if he said, now that Hogan's gone, I want you to be the face of my company. He could have just said that.
But they could have had Macho Man be the crazy, like, went nuts and like starts attacking everyone. And Bret Hart
that would have worked too. That would have worked too because heel Macho Man is just as good. Yeah.
You know what the original payoff of this was supposed to be?
What?
And they didn't do it. Instead, it was supposed to be that he was possessed by Papa Shango. That's why suddenly he's such a good wrestler. He keeps looking at his hand. And it was going to be revealed that Papa Shango was controlling him to lead to Papa Shango versus Bret. And then they didn't do it. Instead, they just brought him back as Kama, the Ultimate Fighting Machine.
Oh, wait. So you're saying Bob Backlund was originally supposed to be controlled by Papa Shango?
Yes. That's why he snapped. Papa Shango was possessing him. And that's why he could suddenly beat Bret.
That would have been actually better if they did that.
Yeah, I think it would have been better. Yeah.
I think that would have been way better. Yeah, that would have been actually
better.
Like,
what if he said, like, how he did the Andre DiBiase thing? What if he's like, I'm giving the belt now. Like, he can't control himself, and Shango's like doing a chant, and Bob Backlund hands him the belt. And then Bob Backlund's like, I couldn't control myself. I think that'd be kind of fun. That's the kind of shit that you could do. And then you do Shango versus Bret, Shango versus Undertaker, which you wind up doing anyway.
Yeah, that would have been well, it is what it is. Well, regardless,
Dave Meltzer would have shit on it the moment.
Yeah,
the moment they even suggested it goes there, Meltzer in the news, they'd be like, oh, this is terrible.
It's so boring that it would have worked. It would have been better if they had just done that. It's so boring. Oh my god.
Oh, it's horrible.
This was horrible.
Stay away from this show. Don't fucking watch it.
Don't watch it.
I mean, there's nothing I can even get excited. This company, man. I made the right choice. Like, nobody can say to me, I can't believe you didn't watch wrestling in '94. What was this guy? He lost so much of his fucking. Man, it's like, dude, it's like
he lost the
you just got You know what? Somebody brought up a great point. A lot of the guys who were over in WWF, he just took their persona they had in the territories and propped it up. I remember like somebody said to Eric Bischoff, who created Hulkamania? And he goes, Vern Gagne. Like, no, he didn't. Like, yeah, he did. And it's true. Like
That's true.
Hulkamania,
That is true. Yeah. Yeah.
Hulkamania was in place over there. And Vince just took it and put it in WWF. And it's not like Vince came up, you're gonna say this, you're gonna say that. Hogan came up with all of them himself. Same thing with the Macho Man, same thing with Hacksaw,
Junkyard
same
Dog.
thing. Junkyard Dog, Roddy Piper. He just took these guys and then like he like made figures of them and stuff. It's just because now it's like he's kind of got a he doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. He doesn't know what he's doing. If he doesn't have someone ready made for him to like build everything around, he doesn't know what he's doing.
The only ones he actually created himself was like Undertaker.
Mm-hmm. And that
Barber.
was more Bruce Pritchard's idea, if you believe him.
Yeah, the barber, right? And
Bushwhackers, having the intuition that they're faces and they're for kids.
Yeah.
Because they were hardcore. But I also almost feel like he did that as a rib off. Like he's like, I don't like I'm gonna fuck with these guys. Because their whole thing was we're violent, we're hardcore. And I think a lot of what he does is to fuck with people. I don't think I think like Mankind was to fuck with Cactus Jack. I think a lot of it is you think that you're special, you think that you mean something. If you mean something, you mean something, but I'm gonna go out of my way to prove that you don't.
Yeah.
And he's
Good
not
riddance.
What?
Good riddance. I'm glad he's gone.
Fuck him.
All right. Glad he's gone, yeah.
Let's go over the next 4 weeks. Next week, Starrcade 94, Brutus the Butcher versus Hulk Hogan. In 2 weeks, we have Royal Rumble 95 with Diesel versus Bret Hart. In 3 weeks, Super Bowl 5, Hogan versus Vader. And then in 4 weeks, Uncensored 95, Hogan versus Vader in a strap match. What are you excited about, brother?
Royal Rumble, man. Always. What about you?
I'm excited for next week. Everyone says it's really bad, but honestly, we've seen some horrible Starrcades. I'm kind of interested to see what Bruce Beefcakes does in like a main event after his accident. Like what exactly? Like, let's be real here. Let's not live in the fantasy that podcasters tell us that the guy has no talent, because Bruce Beefcake does have some talent. So I'm interested in next week, and also I'm interested to see Sting versus Earthquake. I want to see that match. So yeah, next week. The 95 Royal Rumble is the worst one, I think.
Oh man, I guess I'm gonna find that real quick. I love the Rumble, but we'll find out.
We'll find out, guys. That's the show. If you like the podcast, please subscribe. Follow us, Ray Goots Comedy on TikTok, Ray Goots on Instagram, and follow Andrew, son of Lee, everywhere. That's the show. We will see you guys next week for Starrcade 94, Daddy. Woo! See you then.